With a day of hoops in the Lowco, holiday hoops. It is Christmas week, if you can believe it. Monday, December the 22nd. Welcome to another episode of the LowcoSports Lowdown. Wes Burr alongside Max Araj, who just slipped in right at the start, and Marcus Walsh, who
Just
was
as
with
we were
me
getting going.
at the Holiday Classic, which turned out to be a classic of a championship game, but a heartbreaking one for the hometown Seahawks of Hilton High, losing in a tough overtime contest and a thriller 67-65 in a game where they really struggled the first quarter, but just found that groove in the second quarter and had a decent lead in the fourth, but couldn't close it out. A couple of unfortunate turnovers down the stretch, and then just couldn't quite deliver enough in that overtime period. At a couple of opportunities, could not cash in, but I don't remember a better performance by this Hilton team ever in that Holiday Classic. And
I can't think of quite a performance like that, Wes. You and I were there.
Yep.
At the end of one, they were down 22-7, and we both thought, "Gosh, this could be real tough." You know, it certainly is from that first quarter, and then all of a sudden they were playing up to the standard against a I couldn't believe how tall and how athletic Jordan Christian was.
I'll tell you what,
they ended up ratcheting their game.
That's
found a way to disrupt them as that went along, and I was incredibly impressed. We'll get some more of that later on in the show. Actually, we'll lead off with that after we do our little intro. But how's everyone doing on this Monday before Christmas, or a couple days before Christmas?
Been a busy Monday. Obviously, I saw 2 games in the gym there today, and was working with a little bit of stuff there at WHHI as well, intermixed. I was on the island all day. Getting ready for it, and getting ready for the bustle of the holiday, figuring out where I'm going to be and seeing a bunch of folks. My family's still up north for about another week or so, but just getting ready for what is a great holiday season and a great time of year.
No doubt. And great basketball as well to be able to take in today, which we'll talk about very soon. And Max, haven't heard from you. I was under the weather. I was sick over the weekend, but feeling better now and got taking some good basketball. But I missed our discussion on that another overtime thriller in the Bluffton Maver, which I definitely would like to talk about a little later on the show. But Max, how have you been?
I've been good. I'm extremely tired. It's been a very long day at Beaufort County Parks and Rec, running our winter camps for the kids whose parents unfortunately have to work during the holiday season, especially on 22nd and 23rd. So always a difficult thing to not get to spend time with your parents. But of course, I got to spend time with me and my good friend Brock over at Beaufort County Parks and Rec today. So busy day today, busy day tomorrow, but going to be able to enjoy the rest of the week off for the holidays. Nice. So I look forward to spending time with family and of course with you guys on our Festivus show tomorrow night.
Right. This is our last regular show before Christmas. But tomorrow it will be our second annual Festivus for the rest of us, inspired by the made up holiday by the popular show Seinfeld back in the 90s, I guess, when they discovered that they wanted to air their grievances, and we will do the same. Coming up tomorrow,
Frank Costanza,
and maybe some feats of strength as well added in. So don't miss out on that. I'm not sure what time, but probably somewhere around 9 o'clock. We'll maybe earlier. We'll see. But the annual Festivus show will be tomorrow when anything is fair game that we will.
I kind of sat low and didn't say a whole lot. I've got a couple of things for tomorrow, and I think the Funky Bunch does too. We were talking about some things, so she may add in a couple of things tomorrow as well.
Anything is fair game unless you're criticizing the local sports scene, and that's where the feats of strength will come in. So, but we'll see what happens. But yeah, that'll be tomorrow. on our special Festivus show, and to wrap things up for the holidays, and then, or at least the Christmas holidays, and then we'll be back very soon as we get ready for the Bluffton tournament, which I know the guys, the boys are playing. I assume there'll be a girls tournament, but I haven't heard anything.
There with Bluffton. There is not. We found that out
Okay, so
about a
just the
week
boys.
ago. It is
Okay.
just boys.
All
They
right.
decided, much to a few people's chagrins, because JJ and I were wondering that. I think Max, you were as well.
Yeah,
I have
for
it.
sure.
I have it confirmed
All right,
from
so
Bradley Gabriel.
there it
Just
is.
boys this year.
There it is,
No
boys
girls
only
in the
for the
Bluffton Classic.
yeah,
Just
boys only tournament
just
coming up,
boys.
which will start on Monday, and we'll go through New Year's
Wednesday.
Eve. But, it should be a fun event. A couple of Lowco teams, couple of Savannah teams. So definitely
Several.
have our eyes on that as we move towards the that week. But first off, our show tonight is presented as always by our good friends at the Mickelson Law Firm, the original sponsor, our all-star sponsor, and the official real estate closing attorney, and the presenting sponsor of Hilton Head Christian Academy coverage. Call Mickelson Law Firm for all of your legal needs. And WHHI TV, Marcus Walsh, and our great partners in local sports journalism, and the only television station that is devoted exclusively to covering the Low Country. Keep up with the latest news on WHHI TV, available through Spectrum, Hargray, and they are streaming online as always at WHHITV.com. They are getting ready for their basketball coverage to start in the new year.
We are. You can catch us on Apple TV, Roku, a bunch of other places, YouTube. The schedule is out and packets have been made. So we are going to have basketball starting in January and going into February. Excited to be back into the gyms, scouting. Last year I decided to scout as many teams as I could that I was going to be calling. Decided with, our schedule, certainly Samantha's and mine working out the way it is, I have a chance to do that again this year. And so I'm getting to the gyms early and often up until, really until the second, third week of January, and getting after it, taking a look at these teams, and still have a lot more teams to see in the next few weeks. But
I
so
haven't
far,
seen Bay River yet.
So good.
I got to see Bluffton, that great game against GP2 earlier this week. That was a lot of fun. We'll get to see well, let me see. Let me pull up the. I also can take our first look at the that tournament brackets for Bluffton. That'll be coming up in a couple of days. But first off, what a tremendous game! What an effort by Hilton Head, as we mentioned at the top, and a just tough defeat in a place where I don't remember the last time they've even gotten to, which is the Holiday Classic Championship game. I remember many a year where they fall flat and lose in round one, and
right
this year to make it all the way to the final game, and they gave that Jordan Christian team everything, and it was really a tremendous effort after that tough first quarter. And you kind of think if you put together all 32 minutes, so what could have happened? But still 67-65. In back and forth overtime and fourth quarter after Jordan Christian closed the gap, because Hilton had a 7-point lead at one point, but then it felt like it was Hilton Head's game, but a couple of misses at the line, and then you just turn the ball over a couple of times where you have empty possessions. You can't find a way to seal the deal, which that hurts, because I thought the second and third quarters they really dominated into the fourth. And then it just a little bit of carelessness with the ball. You commit a couple of turnovers you wish you shouldn't have, and you don't get the team with so much size. Not only that, a team that can fly in transition when you give them the opportunity with the height that they have. And it seemed like every time Hilton had a big bucket in that fourth quarter, seconds later you saw Jordan Christian come down the floor.
Correct.
And really score, in an uninterrupted way. I mean, it was just bang right back at him, and it just felt like Hilton, if they could have gotten one or two more stops, and then just took advantage when they got the opportunities on offense, I felt like they were that close to sealing it. Had a decent look in the corner to
yes.
what would have won it in the fourth.
I think that was.
And he's a terrific player, and Keita Smith, not a bad look. Not a bad look for Keita Smith. Couldn't quite get the shot he wanted in terms of the execution, but then you had some chances in overtime. Back and forth kind of game. But Lara had an opportunity, and then you had that chance late where you just couldn't get a shot off with a few seconds to go. That was really well defended. Yeah, that was really well defended. It was tough because Lara, I'm really impressed
that
with
kid.
Him.
Is
He
outstanding.
was everything. I mean, and rightfully so. He was one of the two Seahawks of Hilton Head who got to earned a spot on the alternate team. I think that was a great decision by Shane Brown. He knows how much he is with his team. He is going to have a big time role once region play comes around. One of those glue guy players who will, perform well in a bit of everything. Get some rebounds, play well defensively. He's going to hit some shots and just make good decisions. He really made some good decisions with the basketball, setting up some teammates with some nice shots from beyond the arc. And I'll tell you what a game from Trey Lewis. He was tremendous. Made a couple of big shots in the second half. And, of course, Tajay Wright, who just has that knack of scoring every time they need a bucket. And he was tremendous all tournament long. He put up 17. Lewis actually led the way with 18, but both were outstanding. And then Derek Renishevsky, of course, someone who we talked about all fall as he's
a heck of a basketball player too
on the football field. But man, his rebound, his defense tonight was outstanding. And I think that if it wasn't for Renishevsky, I think that Jordan Christian would have found a way to really take over in that third and fourth quarter. But it just seemed like when there was a loose ball or there was a rebound, even against much taller players, Renishevsky was everywhere, and he was able to secure those boards and pick up a couple of big-time defensive steals that allowed Hilton Head to just get the ball right back and give yourself an opportunity offensively. And, man, how many times does it look like that Jordan Christian had like an easy bucket or like an easy opportunity, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Hilton Head comes away to swipe it away, or they force a charge or a turnover. Shane Brown, these last ever since he came in around 2019, he has predicated his team on playing great defense, and it all starts in the defensive end of the floor. Obviously, it led the team to that state championship appearance back in 2021, which is another heartbreaker, by the way. But man, the way that these guys play, they're going to be a force in this region. We'll get to some of that tonight, but certainly we'll save a little bit more for when JJ comes on. We do our power rankings. Not sure if those will be before or after the Boston tournament. We might save it for after.
Yeah, I think after would certainly be fine. You mentioned all the guys there, Wes.
A very commendable effort. I mean, I had my thoughts about this game beforehand, and I got to watch this Jordan Christian team in the semifinals. Man, I mean, they just overwhelmed their opponent from the start, and the other team just could not find a way to answer. But this Hilton Head squad, the way they responded after going down the way they did, and defensive effort, and they just forced a bunch of close misses, close to the rim. They didn't give anything easy except a couple of transition buckets late in that game, which was unfortunate to see. But the way Hilton Head just responded and played defensively, and we knew they needed to hit some outside shots, and they got that with Trey and with Tajay. They've got some good outside shooters this year. They've got some playmakers who can make things happen. They've got some good supporting pieces. I mean, they may not have the height that they may have had with the Sumo that year, or a couple of other teams. But they do have some guys who can come up big with some boards, and even Renishevsky, who's not the tallest. He's just a great competitor, and I think they have the guys that are going to make this team not just a competitive one, but one of those dark horse teams that could sneak in on a Bluffton or a May River and find a way to steal those games, and maybe they'll be on top of the region, or at least competing for it again, just like what happened on the football field. So don't sleep on Shane Brown. I've said this before the season. Don't sleep on Shane Brown. Now you're starting to see from this performance in the tournament that this team is right there, in my opinion, with May River in Bluffton?
He's been great without question. I have a couple of things as far as that game went. I again thought 22-7. My gosh, what the heck's
Yeah.
going on? I don't know what he said to the guys at the end of that first quarter, but whatever it was, it worked. I tell you what, it was absolutely outstanding. And certainly you mentioned the key guys and Tajay Wright and Trey Lewis. Kevin Chisholm had a great weekend. Certainly Derek Renajetsky, Keita Smith, but Miguel Lara, he is without question and I don't mean this begrudgingly at all, but I'll phrase it a little bit differently. He is without question the smallest player on the floor most, if not all nights.
Right.
And he was going up against guys that were at least a foot taller than him.
Yeah.
And he was absolutely giving them everything that he has. He's like the Energizer Bunny wrapped up in a little tiny compressed package. I mean that, and he made a couple of mistakes late, and he was right in front of me, and I saw him, get frustrated with himself, but he was right back at it after just a couple of seconds. I am so impressed with that kid, and certainly Hilton Head played outstandingly for 3 quarters. They needed to get a faster start in the first quarter to really have a chance, I thought, because they just ran out of gas. They were going up against a team that was very tall.
They were up 7 in the fourth quarter, despite that, against a very good team.
Right.
With that Jordan Christian team, I mean, I'm not sure in terms of how good they are in their conference or classification where they play in Florida, but just the eye test of what I saw in that game yesterday in the second round in the semifinals. This was a team with height, with some, physicality that can outwork you if you're not careful. And, that they Hilton had the way they just packed the paint or in important situations and did an excellent job of just disrupting them enough that they were able to miss some shots close to the rim, and a lot of them. It was interesting because it felt like, Jordan Christian was, they even when they were missing some threes, they kept shooting from beyond the arc. And I feel like Hilton was just kind of inviting to do that. And it felt like that those threes weren't falling, and Hilton was able to get some important rebounds and come back and then eventually build that lead that they had in the fourth quarter for a decent amount of time. And you just wish you could have done a little bit more to hold on, because I felt like Jordan Christian was able to make some things happen defensively and force some turnovers. And you felt like, the nerves are there for Hilton. I mean, you understand what is at stake. I mean, a chance to win this holiday tournament, which, like I said, I'll have to look up the whoever has those records, because I don't remember the last time. Not even the last time they've won a tournament. Last time they've gotten to the championship of this tournament. That is an accomplishment in of itself, just because of the talent that this tournament brings in every year. And
how long's the tournament been going on, Max? You might know.
For what, the Holiday Classic?
Yeah, and even
it had to have been since at least
last time.
It's been a few. It's been a few years, I think.
I remember some some stories about this tournament. I'll have to do a little bit more research, but I remember guys like AJ Green, Steph Curry coming through this tournament. Some big name future stars. I mean, the talent continues to be talent laden every year with some of the guys that have played in this tournament. And it's done to give a challenge to this.
Yeah.
I mean, and obviously to get teams to come over and play over here at which an area which it was cold last week, but man, they were treating some beautiful weather these last few days. It was 60 degrees and sunny outside. Great beach weather, even for they lucked out in terms of
sure,
the weather.
If they were able to get out there and get a little bit of a reprieve, but you just know from the way that these teams are playing on both sides that they are dedicated to the gym and they really get after it, because the level of competition was certainly something. I mean, even in the girls' side of things, I saw the second half of that girls' championship before the guys' game started today. That girls' championship was pretty
How
dang
about that
impressive
girl?
too.
And there's
Wow.
one player I wanted to mention in particular who absolutely dominated, and not just that, but how about
The MVP.
what if I told you she put up 52 points
Oh, mercy.
in that game today? I'm talking about Kimora Fields.
Yeah.
Remember that name
Wow.
because she is going to be a Clemson Tiger. She is going to be a
Okay.
Clemson Tiger. She signed just a month ago, and my goodness, I don't remember seeing a more dominant high school girls player in my time, just covering not just covering, South Carolina High School League basketball, but covering this tournament. I don't remember someone putting up 50 in a game. I mean,
That's special.
we've had some tremendous players come through. I remember both on the guys and the girls side, but I don't remember somebody performing at that level, especially in the championship game. But yeah, Bradley Central. I don't remember the exact score, but I believe they put up at least 80, if not 90.
Yeah, I think they hit 90. I think it was
They
like
did, yeah.
90 to 60 or something.
I believe that sounds about right. So, yeah, Kimora Field certainly one to watch, and Max, as someone who is a Clemson guy, I'm sure that you might hear that name coming up.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And I'd like, I think after this tournament with the boys team for Hilton Head, I think I've become a lot more intrigued by this Hilton Head team and how they've been playing.
Not surprising. She has scored over 2,000 points in her high school career.
Yeah.
And
the girls teams have been playing solid as well. I mean, the girls team's been a solid team so far this season. I'm intrigued to see what they look like as we get into region play starting next year. It's going to be very interesting. Obviously, that Beaufort girls team is no joke. So I look forward to seeing those two teams square off.
I think they can win region.
And I think if it's not Beaufort, I think Colleton County girls are going to be in the mix for that as well because they've been having a solid season too. So, like those two teams alongside Hilton Head, I think
Colleton's been sneaky good this year, from what I have heard.
Yeah, they've been sneaky good. I know they got off a win against was it Hampton, and that Hampton girls team is no joke. I think. Let me check here. County.
Yeah, I'm excited to see that Colleton team in action. Certainly will because they'll be in our regional. See them a few times, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they have this year, and I think they'll give a good challenge to some of our girls teams.
So they actually played Baptist Hill tonight, and got the 58-20 win, and then they lost on the 19th to Hampton County by 2. So that's a really solid.
That's impressive.
Both of those teams I think are going to be solid. That Colleton girls team and that Hampton girls team over the two.
I mean they've won some games. I mean they're 7-6 right now, but the 6 losses have come to some pretty solid teams. Bethune Bowman's usually solid in girls basketball. Ashley Ridge, I think they beat Stratford. That's a huge win. Beating a team like Stratford, beat Gilbert. You beat Stahl.
Those are impressive wins.
Yeah. And I mean, some of your losses, Cane Bay is always a strong team. Hampton County, you've lost to twice. I mean, that's a really strong Colleton County girls team, and I look forward to seeing them in region play alongside that Beaufort team. And I think Hilton Head can be right in the mix as well as if they can get off to a hot start.
Yeah, but they had a tough loss today against Battery Creek.
Yeah, they did.
They were in the mix. They were in the mix today. I was there bright and early in the morning at 10:30 to check that game out. They trailed 9-6 after 1, 18-10 after 2, and then much like what we saw with Hilton Head on the guys' side getting after it after a bit of a tough start, they trailed 30-17 after 3 and then went on a blitzkrieg and ended up losing 39-38. But I tell you what, there were a couple of girls that really stood out to me. Olivia Brockway and Kat Gavin were the two that just absolutely got after it and really dominated. Sanaya Pinkney with some big shots late, especially at the free throw line. Eleanor Best with some big plays. Lily Onan as well, very Very good effort out of her at times, and it was scrappy, it was tough, it was physical, and Hilton Head really got after it, shooting the basketball and making some plays, playing the whole set of 32 minutes. Tough night or tough morning, excuse me, for Ava Pankook. She got banged around in the first quarter, and then in the second half got back in the game and was able to get within the rhythm of the game a little bit. But it was a really physical game. There was a bunch of physicality from those girls, literally leaving it all out on the floor. And I actually saw Malcolm Gordon's mom, Michelle, at the game, who is the sister of the head coach of Battery Creek. I hope I'm getting her name right, Terry Scott Aiken. And so I actually was talking with her quite a bit during the girls' game, and just figuring what things were looking like over there at BC, as well as that very competitive ball game.
Hilton beat Battery Creek 57-23 back early this month, but
I was there too.
Vengeance there, so
yeah,
nice win for the Dolphins in this holiday tournament, one that they really could build some momentum.
Absolutely, they can, and yeah, I was at that other matchup a week and a half ago. Hilton Head's played a lot of basketball on the girls' side over the last week. They played on Tuesday, they played on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and today. So definitely a little bit of a tired ball club for sure, but they definitely have some really good talented players. They lost a lot, obviously, but they've got a lot of talented players for sure. And some girls really getting after it. Heather Ball with a couple of big points. Veronica Strain got after it. Gabby Singleton really showed up and played well. And those three were three that caught my eye for sure. But they play a very physical brand of basketball, and Hilton Head was ready for them. A lot of missed shots by Hilton Head, especially early. They went on that huge run in the fourth quarter. First three quarters, though, it took a little bit of time to get things going. But all in all, a very competitive ball game for sure, with a lot of physicality and toughness. And Hilton Head definitely should not be hanging their heads, because they've played a lot of ball, and they ended up being very resilient and battling hard to just go down by 1 point.
The teams that have started slow and they've gotten better as region play has gone along. So I think that's what I've seen, kind of what Braniszewski has done, where it can take a while for some teams to get going with a lot of roster turnover and all that. But it's a lot different team this year compared to what we've seen in the past. So trying to get the most out of who you have, and I am sure that Braniszewski's going to get this team competitive by the end of region play, and they're going to be.
Oh, I wouldn't doubt that either.
Yep.
For sure, he's got a lot of intensity and heart, certainly, for these girls, without question. We know who his son is, so that comes with the territory. A lot of really good ball, certainly seen on both the guys and the girls in this tournament, and it was fun to be in the gym for 3 days.
Yeah, I missed the first day, but it was great to catch yesterday and today's games, and man, I had a ton of fun, especially both those championship games. Seeing that incredible performance, that 52-point showing from Kimura Fields was special, and then that tremendous game where Hilton Head. I mean, man, my adrenaline was pumping, because man, that would have been extra special to see them win the tournament, which I've seen them compete at for over 10-15 years. I've been in that tournament for a long time over the years and covered a lot of them, and man, you just it felt like it was their night. But just credit to that Jordan Christian team for showing that fight late, locking in defensively, and getting those stops, force some turnovers, and got to play the final minute. And that's, at the same time, I think it gives a lot of just not just excitement, but added motivation for the Hilda team to continue to get better as we get towards region play. I believe they. I think they are back in action coming up on Saturday. Another tournament, I believe, in Georgia. will be taking place this coming weekend. So 3 days off for the holidays, then right back at it before region play starts. And they will open up region play.
Yeah,
against the battling Bishops of Bishop England, which will be a big game coming
that
right
should
out
be
of
a
the
great
gate
game.
on the 7th. So I'm certainly could be at that one, depending on what other games are on tap that day. But looking forward to more holiday hoops coming up very shortly this weekend with the not just the Bluff tournament, but a couple of other tournaments happening elsewhere as well. We've got a couple standalone games, and then of course, you got the Shark Invitational, the big time basketball or the big time wrestling tournament coming up this week as well. But let's take a moment to acknowledge some more sponsors. Welcome back, Hudson Seafood House on the docks to the Lowco Booster Club. It's a great place for seafood sunsets and cocktails on Hilton Island. Presenting sponsor of Under the Bus, which not sure when their next episode will be. They may take some time off for the holidays, but judging that, there's a ton of good football on, a lot ongoing, including Philip Rivers still doing it.
He's
for
still
the
kicking.
Indianapolis Colts, still slinging the football.
Unbelievable.
Unfortunately, they are behind 21-14 to the 49ers of San Francisco, who are about potentially looking to score again. Unfortunately, this is win or elimination for the Colts. So
for the Colts, yeah.
Yep.
How about the Jaguars, man?
How about them?
We'll talk more about that potentially later on at the end of the show. But some more sponsors to shout out. Of course, on the bus, as we mentioned, new episode soon. Not sure. Stay tuned for when that will be. New sponsor, Twinge & Twomley, personal injury attorneys, a rare name but remarkable service. And then Hilton Island Windows and Doors, Coach Barron, setting the screens in a different manner, improving your view of the Lowco. While we're at it, let's take a look at what's coming up on the basketball scene. Most notably, the basketball tournament over in Bluffton that is coming up starting next week. The Bluffton Christmas tournament, as we said, it will not be a girls tournament this year, just boys, but a lot of intriguing matchups. Several teams from the area, from the Lowco and in Savannah as well. So we got the boys bracket. I might be able to. You guys want to talk about something else? I will find a way to unveil the bracket here on the screen if you give me a few minutes. But Max, you just have you been able to come out to do a couple? I know you've been busy with everything over in Beaufort, but have you been able to go into any gyms recently?
Well, of course, I was at the John Draft's Battery Creek Classic this past weekend.
Right. Yep.
I have not been able to get out to many other gyms other than, of course, USCB games. Well, the one that they had over, this past home game that they had against, I'm drawing a blank on who they played. I can't remember who they played, but their last home game. And then apart from that, it's been difficult getting out to some gyms, but I'm looking forward to the new year, trying to see if I can find a way to get out to some gyms, including, Colleton County, because everybody keeps telling me you got to get out to the Colleton County basketball game.
I've never been to that gym, but I've heard some good.
I hear it's fantastic. Trying to get out to a Hardyville game this year, especially how they finished their 2025 part of their campaign off with wins over Ridgeland and, of course, Bamberg to start out 2-0 in region play with that men's team. So I'm going to try to get out there because I was out there last year, and I'll tell you this, man, it is some fun times out in the Ville whenever you can get out for a men's basketball game. I'm going to try to get to at least one of those two May River Bluffton games in 2026. I know one will be at the end of January. I believe it'll be at Bluffton. And then the second game will be at May River to finish out the season. They end the season, their last region game.
It's like the Duke, North Carolina.
Dude, what could be more better, especially with how those two teams played this past Saturday. If that's what we're going to get to see for two more games, I'm all for it.
Yeah, it's nice to have 3 and maybe 4 because they could meet in the playoffs too.
Possibly playoffs. I mean, but it's great for me. Like I said the other night, I said it's great in my opinion, to see these two teams play 3 times during the regular season,
Yeah.
1 home game, 1 away game, and then a neutral site game.
Yeah.
And that's like, for me, I'm
And
like,
that's
that's
the
how
three.
you really determine who's
Right.
who runs Bluffton, you know?
Absolutely.
And so
There you
I
go.
think it's a great opportunity.
Game 1 went to the Sharks. We'll see what happens
Yeah.
in game 2.
It was a great game
be,
between those.
it will be in the Bobcat Den, I believe,
And you can
on
also
the 23rd of January.
yeah.
And then the last game of the regular season will be Bluffton at May River on February the 10th. So mark your calendars for that.
But I would say for me, I think these two teams, even the one thing that I keep thinking about is that this game went to overtime on Saturday, and who was Bluffton missing? Their 2 players, Carnell Warren and Aiden McCarthy, who will no longer be there for the rest of the season, being
wild.
that they're graduating early, heading off to play
McCarthy
football.
is as well. I didn't realize that. I knew Carnell was, but yeah, those are 2 important losses for that team. 2 massive losses. I saw both of them play. I saw both of them play against Shapey too, and both were huge in that game. Made incredible impacts. So that I'm just wondering who's going to step up for that Bluffton team.
Well, Gordon had a great game, as you were talking about, Max,
they
the other
still
day.
Other guys. I'm just, I just feel like, when you lose 2 athletes like that, you're gonna have to find other guys to step up in a game in that season. But Gabriel's a good coach. He's a good coach. Speaking of that coach, he sent us this bracket that will be the Bluffton Christmas tournament, as they're calling it, holiday tournament, whatever, Bobcat Classic, whatever you want to call it.
Bobcat Classic.
I think that's the name of it, the official name of it. But here is the brackets.
And of course, by the way, Aiden McCarthy heading out to
there
UMass,
we go.
The Minutemen, by the way.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's where he's going to be going to play college football, at least
Congratulations.
For the time being. That's where he's going to be going, and I think that's where he's heading out to start the year of 2026. He'll be heading out to play.
Great guy, and had a great performance as well in the North-South game a few weeks ago.
And he had some other options. He had some schools really look into him: Arkansas State, Georgia Southern, Jacksonville State, Elon. Quite a few teams that were all looking at him and saying, yeah, he's something we would love to see. And other teams include Mercer, Richmond, the Citadel, West Georgia, and of course Wofford. So I mean, he had a lot of schools looking at him. So
looking forward to
good luck out at UMass, Mr. McCarthy.
He moves his next chapter, which me very excited. Great athletic competitor.
Ooh, here's the tournament. I did see this earlier today, so I'm glad I'm seeing this fully for the first time. Cool. So
here's the Bluffton bracket. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, first round Monday, we got Islands against Hilton Head Prep. New look Hilton Head Prep Dolphins team this year. Benedictine boys school taking on Bridges Prep. The Bucks. It's a 4:30 tip. Then the other half of the bracket, we got Hilton Head Christian Academy, or Eagles Max, taking on Justin Jarrett's Hurricanes. So
that's going to be it. That's interesting.
6 o'clock. I guess that's the prime time game, or maybe the first prime time game, the nightcap at 7:30. Bluffton Bobcats taking on the Bethesda Blazers.
And that will of course be on that first day. Will be December 30th. Of course, the second day will be
the first day, the 29th.
29th.
Sorry, excuse me.
And then New Year's Eve, so before the ball drops, you got the championship day.
And I will be looking forward to get out to this tournament on the 31st. Of course, unfortunately, I have to work those first 2 nights, but I will definitely be out there for the championship games on the 31st, or the championship game on the 31st.
Championship game on the 31st, but championship day, all 8 teams will play their last game that day, and I think they'll start it early.
If that championship game's at 4:30, they're starting early.
Yes, that is correct. So I think that's right. Let me double check what they said in the email. 1 second, sorry. What they said in the email over there from Coach Gabriel. Yes, championship at 4:30. The first game will be at noon. These games tend to run late, because if one game is overtime or you get a foul fest in one of them, it'll be well pushed back. So
we
most
saw
likely
that today too.
4:30.
By the way, I look for Benedictine to be strong in this tournament. They're a pretty strong basketball team.
Also,
So
Bethesda, the football team just won the state championship. Although Bluffton, I could certainly see Bluffton find a way to get past them. So that should be a fun first round game to cap off the night, and we'll definitely have a lot of coverage on that tournament as well as we get closer. Any other basketball news you'd like to discuss? Obviously, that May River Bluffton game, I wasn't able to get to that one, but we talked, I'm sure, a lot about that on Saturday. But tremendous win by the Sharks, and I'm excited to see what both these teams will do in region play. And just we're gonna save it for later once JJ comes back, and we'll do our power rankings. But just my initial thoughts in this region, I think that it's up for grabs. I don't think we see a clear favorite.
And guys hoops, it definitely is up for grabs. I've got an idea how it's going to shake out in the ladies side of things, but guys, there's a lot of talent.
Wide open.
Great
freaking open.
Yeah.
Especially, I mean, that just from what we've seen over this past week, and of course the two tournaments with the BC Classic and the Holiday and the Hilton Head Hoops Classic, Hilton Head showed everyone that they're able to play with some of the best, especially when teams are a bigger size than they are, of course, in Jordan Christian. Then you got Bluffton and May River, who I think we both, we knew what May River could be. We have been talking about them since the start of the basketball season. They're still undefeated, but that Bluffton team in that game on Saturday, I think, showed everyone they're not a team to be reckoned with. They will light you up if you are not prepared to take them on. So I think those three teams, and then Bishop England's in play as well. I mean, they're 5-3 on the year, and they've played some tough opponents, including Porter Goud, who seems to be beating down everyone this year. They must have a really solid basketball team, so expect them to win the Skiza 4A state title possibly this year. But those four teams right there, and then I mean, even Colleton County's in that mix too. They're not a weak basketball team either. That's not a team you want to play on a bad night.
Not, it's early, but I'm not too high on what I've seen from Bishop England in terms of the guys. They've lost to Wando by 66-45. They lost by 20 to Lucy Beckham. Lost to Porter Goud by 15. I mean, I think they'll be competitive, but I don't think they're head and shoulder.
They weren't really. I mean, to put it in terms, they were decent, but they weren't strong last year. I mean, we saw Bluffton take them down pretty easily in that first round of the playoffs last year, and we saw them be able to take them down with
I think
with real ease. I would say so, but I wouldn't put those. I mean, all those teams in that region. I mean,
I think Buford still has a ways to go.
Yeah, but I think the three teams we're looking at currently would be May River, Bluffton, and Hilton Head for shots at that first spot.
I think you're probably right in terms of the front runners in this region. I think it could be either one of these three teams. In my opinion, I will, just based on I want to see more of what Bluffton can do without McCarthy and Carnell. Even though they gave a good challenge to May River. With who they had out there on the floor, I would probably go either May River or Hilton Head. I'll probably go May River, number one, and then Hilton Head Bluffton, very following.
Yeah, I wouldn't disagree with you on that.
Yeah, I would not disagree with you on that at all.
That sounds about right for now. We'll definitely learn more from the holiday or from the Bobcat Classic.
I
think the team sitting behind those three in that order for me is Colleton County. I something about that team this year. I just feel like they're gonna knock off one of those three teams at some point this season because they are capable of doing that.
Yep. Feels like that's gonna happen at some point.
I mean, if that does happen, it causes a stir up because we all know that this region is going to be close no matter what. But when you have someone like Colleton County in the mix that could knock someone off and really stir it up, it's going to be really fun region play when it gets going.
Yeah. In terms of the girls' side of things, tough start for Hilton Head. Bluff still in a rebuilding mode. May River has shown some quality signs, but man, I'm looking at right
Buford.
now Buford, Bishop, and Colleton County, who have all three have been very impressive.
I would say it's in that order. I think Bishop England's the strongest team in the region. They have a really solid girls basketball team. I think it's a toss up between, for me, Buford and Colleton County for that second spot. I think Bishop England's just too strong of a team for anyone to be able to take them down in that region. I think it's their region to lose. So
I believe so. I mean, Bishop England has been that in girls basketball. They've been pretty dominant power, and
but I think that second spot between Buford and Colleton is going to be up for grabs, and it's why I'm looking forward to those two teams going at it this year.
I put Buford slightly ahead of Colleton.
I agree.
But, I think Colleton has shown that they can, any given night, they could absolutely.
I mean, if you can put a fight up against what is a really strong Hampton County girls team, I think
the resume has shown that they could do it, no doubt.
Yeah.
I think they're very close,
100%.
like right there next to each other. Like that game could be a toss up either way. But I think May River, still need to see a lot more from them, and Bluffton rebuilding, Hilton Head, just they're trying to find their way as well. I think that pretty much on part of what I've seen in terms of where these teams are, but now you're starting to get close to region play, and that's what makes it fun when we get to the point where now we get to see these big matchups that matter in a few weeks. Still some more holiday action to take place very soon, as we will cover in the next few days. But that is pretty much all we have for news items today, unless anyone else has anything that has come across. If not, we will do our last sponsors, and we'll do our parting thoughts.
I'm good with that.
Yeah, I'm down.
I'm like these kids, with the basketball tournaments and whatnot. I'm a gym rat. I was in the gym, twice today and a bunch this weekend. Basketball is definitely where I bring in the most info as far as what we're doing with WHHI and beyond. So I'm good.
Awesome. All right, so our final sponsors are Revenants Wrestling Club, our official wrestling sponsor, who, man, they do a tremendous job. They have risen the level of our wrestling in the area to incredible heights, and they continue to do that. I got to take a tour of Revenants Wrestling a couple of years ago. Really impressed by the coaches they have, the instructors, the staff. These kids, just what an awesome opportunity to learn from these outstanding coaches, individuals, and they work them hard over there. Certainly, we've seen a lot of Jarrett siblings Jarrett's kids who have been a part of that as well over the years. But they are our official wrestling sponsor, and they are presenting sponsor of Lowco Grind, our weekly Sunday show. And then the Jay's Barbershop, the place to be in Ridgeland, whether you need a haircut or not, as Pinheiro gets set to attempt a 64-yard field goal that goes straight down. No, it hit the crossbar and is no good. Wow, I thought he was going to make that. Former Carolina Panther. Anyway, I just saw that in the corner of my eye. Let's go into our parting thoughts. Any whoever wants to go through first, either Marcus or Max. How about Marcus? You go first.
All right. I tell you what, I was talking about Jacksonville and what they've been able to do to start things out heading towards the playoffs. Earlier this year, I watched the Philadelphia Eagles and Minnesota Vikings play in an epic game on a Sunday. It was within the first month of the season. And I thought that was the best game that I was going to watch all year in terms of NFL action. But yesterday, there were a couple that certainly rivaled it, if not went over top of it. I watched a good bit of that Steelers-Lions game yesterday.
Oh, my.
425.
Have you ever seen a finish like that?
Insane.
Where, Detroit made that incredible lateral play or backwards play, whatever, to get them a chance to score an improbable touchdown. Although, as the official remarked, the call on the field is a touchdown. However, pass interference on the offense, which because of an offensive penalty and there was no time left on the clock, the game was over. and just absolute stunned Detroit fans all around that stadium, and now they are on life support in terms of their playoff hopes. Which I felt like Detroit, there was a chance that they could fall off a bit this year, especially losing the guy who is now just absolutely killing it for the Chicago Bears, and what he has done for that program. I'm talking about Ben Johnson, who left the Lions, and now
he's done a great job with that team.
The Bears to a great title. Yeah, just incredible stuff there. But that game between Pittsburgh and Detroit, just phenomenal cinema there. At the end,
Baltimore as well.
And you got to go back to the Seattle LA Rams game on Thursday. If you remember that game where Seattle came back from behind, went for 2 to win it overtime. And then you saw that, and I don't know if you remember that incredible play they had to review on a 2-point conversion, where it looked like it was clearly a failed conversion. They looked at it again. Just some bizarre sequences in these games over the last couple of days. But that's what makes the NFL so entertaining when you have, such a close competition, especially what you have this year. I mean, just in terms of where
Guarantee is something.
Yeah. Just on some very unpredictable, results throughout the year, and what we're seeing with the standings right now. It's just unexpected results, and that's what made this league very entertaining, especially for what we have seen this year. But the game you mentioned, Pittsburgh finding a way to hold on against the Detroit team that was desperate for a win. And,
a lot of great action over the weekend
from that Lions team moving forward, because it doesn't look like unless they get a lot of help from the Packers, it looks like Green Bay is going to lock up that wild card spot. It looks like the Bears will most likely lock up that division, which I don't think anyone expected Chicago to win that division at all this year.
I did.
What Ben Johnson and what Caleb Williams and what that team has done, and to see DJ Moore with that incredible catch to seal it in the end zone against Green Bay. That was another tremendous game that happened over the weekend.
Bunch of great stuff for sure.
Yep. Max, your turn. Go ahead.
Well, obviously, you guys alluded to obviously the Bears Packers game that was on Saturday. Clearly, out of all the college football games, that was the best game of the night. On Saturday, because just obviously the college football playoffs first round, it is what it is. Some real barn burners.
You had the Miami A&M game was close.
Good grief.
It was close, but it was 3-3 in the fourth quarter.
Wild. I didn't even see any of it because I was at the Holiday Classic, but that was nuts.
Same. And so, obviously all of that. I have really loved watching that Chicago Bears team play. They've been really fun to watch, especially that last play with Williams throwing a 50-yarder down the field for that overtime win and the touchdown.
DJ Moore catch.
I was sitting at my chair in my living room watching as it happened, and I was just like, when he threw it downfield and I saw one-on-one, I was like, he's gonna catch it, and he caught it, and so really, really, really great game. I think that might be down as the game of the year in the NFL. I think it has to be up there as of right now.
I think there were several. I look back on that. Was it Buffalo-Baltimore Week 1 game, which is
that was a crazy one too.
That was a good one. Not even the Seattle game, Seattle-LA.
But my second thing, anyway, the Kansas City Chiefs, it appears they have reached an agreement to move to the state of Kansas.
I would love to get JJ's take on this.
Yeah, it's starting in 2031. I'm sure we're going to hear about that possibly on our Festivus show tomorrow.
I think we could hear that tomorrow.
I think he's either going to be really happy about it.
Hear something about that in terms of Kansas City.
He's either going to be really happy about it or
really sad.
Really,
well, here's really the thing. I feel bad for I mean, a lot of people will not feel sympathy for the Chiefs because they've had such a tremendous dynastic run over the last few years. But I feel for those fans in Kansas City, Missouri, because it's basically like losing your team. I mean, you saw it with St. Louis with the Rams. You saw it with all these Oakland teams. Yeah, they might still have the team nickname. They'll still be the Kansas City Chiefs, I believe, because there's also a Kansas City in Kansas. But
Correct.
But, it's not the same. Arrowhead's gone. Like, Arrowhead's gonna be gone at the end of 2030.
And it's not even Arrowhead anymore. It hasn't been
Right.
Arrowhead for years.
It's
It's
I mean,
Seahawk.
lost.
Marcus,
A lot that
Seahawk.
was lost.
Marcus,
Arrowhead
listen,
has just been such an important moniker in the NFL. And
the other thing I would say is,
there have been times I've liked the Chiefs. There have been times I've disliked the Chiefs, and but that's an iconic statement in the NFL. So
the funniest thing is, I was going to say, Marcus, on behalf of Justin, I'm just going to say it will always be known as Arrowhead. It will never not be known as something else. It will always be known as Arrowhead.
I hope they will have a stadium ready, and they won't play at some college field. Now, they have like 5 years. So
I think they're going to start building within that 4-year span. Within the next year or so, I'm sure they're going to start breaking ground and building the stadium if this agreement has been put in place and all the contracts and stuff have been put together. And they're planning on 2030 as the last season to Arrowhead. Clearly, that means they're going to start building this stadium probably within the next year or so. So we'll see what happens there. What was the other thing I was going to say? I can't think of it now. I'm sure I'll think of it at our Festivus show.
Yeah, we'll have a lot of
time to talk about our
time for that. Looking forward to
actually that was the other thing I wanted to mention regarding the BC Classic. I wrote an article. You can check it out on the Island News. Just a whole rundown, if you weren't able to make it to the tournament, of what went down in the obviously the championship game between May River and Bluffton, and that third place game between Battery Creek and Beaufort Academy, 2 Beaufort area schools going at it for that third place spot. So if you want to go check it out, feel free to. It's already out on the Island News website, so you can go check it out on there. That's
speaking of all the tournaments, had a great time. Not just covering the game, but doing the PA announcing. I just wanted to talk about my guy Mike Scalise, who does such an awesome job on the mic when I'm not on it. And great guy, and tremendous sense of humor. Makes me laugh like every game for some reason. So it takes me back to when I knew Ron Costello, and I was on that scorers table with him. Before that, before Scalise was there, I was doing the clock or doing something with Costello when I was a student. That guy was incredibly funny. Rest in peace to Ron Costello, who's such an incredible ambassador and just not just a leader in the sense of someone who was at seemingly every football, basketball, and baseball game, doing the PA or doing something, but just an awesome mentor and person to be with. And it just, every time you go to that tournament, it reminds you, especially being in that program for a while, of just what's happened in the past and how awesome that tournament has been, and the players that have gone through it. Curry, I mentioned, he was on that court years ago, and had just really cool to think back of all the teams and players. We've had some teams from Australia, we've had some teams from all over the country, and it's one of the most memorable and favorite times of the entire sports year to cover this tournament, and already looking forward to 2026 to do it again. So congratulations to Jordan Christian, tremendous ball game, and shout out to the Hilton Head Seahawks on a phenomenal run all the way to that state championship. Maybe they will, but phenomenal run to the tournament championship in the Holiday Classic, and exciting season ahead. I am pumped for what Hilton Head could potentially do that this coming year over there.
Forward
It should
to
be a
that.
fun region. And congratulations as well to the Barretts, just an incredible performance from Kamora Fields and the Barretts of Bradley Central knocking off Cumberland County in a very exciting girls championship game. So fun holiday classic. And of course, you know, I certainly had doubts about if Carolina was going to be able to do it on Sunday, but man, they delivered, and just what a incredible season it has been for Bryce Young, and someone who has really defied the haters at every step of the way this year. Now he has had some lumps throughout, but just thinking back to when he was benched in the middle of last year to what he has done, coming up big in a couple of big spots, but mostly who I'm happy the most for. When you look back at this game is Lathan Ransom, who came up with the game-winning pick, who was just beaten down by the fans about his poor performance against New Orleans last week and that just devastating loss to the Saints. What does he do? He comes back the next week. He gets the game-winning interception, picks off Baker Mayfield to end the game when it looked like the Bucs were driving to potentially either tie it or win it. They were down by 3, and then Ransom read the play perfectly, came up with a pick, and Carolina takes back first place in the NFC South. Still work to be done, however. Now, it would have been nice if they were beaten New Orleans, then they would have been the division champs because they would have won their last 2 games. They would have clinched it. However, they still are, unfortunately, for Carolina, the Bucs still control their own destiny because they can win the next 2 games and still win the division. But if Carolina wins and Miami, led by Quinn Ewers, we'll see what happens there. But Miami beats Tampa and Carolina beats Seattle, which is a little bit of a long shot. But Carolina has beaten some NFC West teams at home, or at least they beat the Rams at home this year. They lost the Niners and the Cardinals away, but they did beat the Rams in Carolina. So we'll see what happens against Seattle this coming week, but should be an entertaining game. But if Tampa wins or Carolina loses, it will come down to week 18 in Tampa for the division, which, as a Panthers fan, having a meaningful game week 18, I take that all along if I knew that would be happening this year. And by the way, there is a very odd scenario which could happen, whereas it involves your Atlanta Falcons, Max. Whereas if the Falcons win out, so they win their last 2 games next week, if Tampa and Carolina lose and then Tampa beats Carolina, all 3 teams would finish 8-9 on the year. Carolina would win the tiebreaker because I guess of head-to-head because Carolina swept Atlanta and they beat Tampa Bay already once.
Yeah.
But there's a situation where all 3 teams would finish 8-9 in a 3-way tie, which means Atlanta would win their next 2 games. Atlanta would have to win the next 2 games for that to happen. But wouldn't that be such a crazy finish? What has been such an entertaining in sorts absolutely wild division to watch, even though it might be it's one of the worst divisions in football. That would be a fitting way to wrap
as
up.
a Falcons fan, I could care less about how they finish on the year.
As I'm sure as a Atlanta fan, you're thinking about,
they're still a heck of a lot better than the Cleveland Browns are, and that's my other team.
Sure, but I think Atlanta.
Browns could have beaten them.
Look, you guys have an interesting decision to make based on what are you going to do with Kirk Cousins? What do you think of Michael Penix heading into next year? I mean, there's going to be.
I think for me right now, obviously, it's actually whether or not Penix is going to be ready for the start of next year, being that he has that whole ACL injury.
Yeah.
But I think from what I've seen, Cousins has played better than Penix has had played for most of the season that he was healthy. I mean, granted, Drake London just came back this week, and he's been gone for nearly 4 weeks. So that was your top receiver gone. You lost your number 3 receiver in Ray McLeod, who up and left the Falcons, and then you had Darnell Mooney out for a good bit of the season, and Bijan Robinson was having to do everything. By the way, 2,000 yards from scrimmage this season for Bijan Robinson.
Beast.
Absolutely,
he's a beast. But I think the Falcons, for me, I think they got the potential. It's the coaching for me. I just don't think Raheem Morris is the answer for the Falcons. But they're going to keep him another season from what I can see. I don't think they're going to fire him this year. They're going to give him one more chance. But you blow it, they need to start looking for something.
I mean, I think that you have your franchise running back who is arguably the best back in the NFL right now. I think you have Christian McCaffrey. You can make that case when he's healthy. There are others, who are right there, but there are some on the decline as well. But right now, I think Bijan Robinson is in his prime. You have an electric wideout in Drake London. I mean, you have the core there, and you have some emerging defensive players. But I mean, this is a situation where do you give them one more shot, or do you think that? I mean, we haven't.
Well, I mean, they're gonna give him one more shot.
Yeah.
From what I can tell, they have no intentions of firing him at the moment. Which for me, I think it's a mistake. But I think if you're gonna give him a chance, fine, give him a chance. See what he can do with this team. I mean, he had a chance this year to see what he could do with this team.
It'll be interesting to see if I mean, obviously Penix is hurt, but I mean, are you going to stick with Kirk Cousins? I mean, is he going to be that guy? Because he is.
Question to be asked.
I mean, he's still a dependable veteran, and he has shown that he can still play well at this point. So I'm interested to see how he does those last couple of games for Atlanta, and who's able to step up and build some momentum into next year. So those games are always important, especially for determining what the future of that team is going to be like. So. I mean, that should be interesting, and looking forward to seeing if Carolina can finally break that playoff drought. They haven't made it since 2017. It would be a while.
Definitely would be great.
Certainly would be deserving for that fan base. But we will see what happens, and we have a lot more basketball to find out what happens, and especially these next few weeks. Heading into region play and Skeeza basketball heating up as well. Looking forward to seeing. That was really both the JP2 boys and the girls teams. I liked what I've seen from them, and considering and also seeing what will happen with Hilton Head Christian Academy with development of that girls team, guys team, and Hilton Head Prep, which I have not seen them yet for whatever reason. But I look forward to seeing, especially the guys team in that holiday tournament coming up in the Bobcat Classic. But lots of excitement on the Skeeza side as well. And
Little Green Prep but they've got a chance to do some things in that tournament for sure. Looking forward to seeing HHCA against Bluffton for the first time in a couple of weeks for me. But I'll see the guys in the tourney.
Yeah, they could. We got Hardyville, HHC Hardyville. So we could see Christian Academy and Bluffton in that second round. So it's certainly possible. But we will be back for a special Festivus show tomorrow. We will do our airing of grievances, maybe some feats of strength. We will see what happens. But certainly JG will be back tomorrow to lead us in those proceedings, and hope you'll be back for that as well. Not sure what time we'll start, probably around 9 o'clock, maybe earlier, maybe later. We'll have to see, and maybe we'll have some friends that will come along for the ride as well. But that will do it for tonight. It was a tremendous day of basketball. Congrats once again to the Seahawks for a tremendous run in the Holiday Classic, and looking forward to a lot more in the days to come. So we thank all of our sponsors for their supports, and we thank Max and Marcus. No JJ tonight. Max and Marcus, co-hosts for tonight's show, and we will see you for the Festivus show on Festivus, which is December 23rd tomorrow, for what should be an entertaining anything goes kind of show.
Oh, it's gonna go.
Yes.
It's gonna go.
but yes, looking forward to that tomorrow. So for Marcus Walsh and Max Araj, I'm Wes Kerr saying good night, and until tomorrow, go Loco.